Hello, good day, good evening, good afternoon. I'm at a loss for words. This is the Grove podcast. I'm joined today by two very special guests to discuss and dissect the match against Aston Villa yesterday. Senzi, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you.
Good to have you on. Congratulations on completing your dissertation, by the way. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about that in an episode to come.
Thank you.
So yeah, really looking forward to that. And also joined by our regular Tabs.
Hey everyone, hope you're doing very well on this fine Monday morning.
This fine Monday morning indeed.
Got to try and find the joy.
Got to try and find the joy. And look, I'm going to ask you guys how we're feeling today, and I'll go first. I've had a period of reflection, and perhaps it was the calming influence of having Andy at the airport during a flight delay that seemed to go on forever and ever and ever and ever. I mean, at one point we looked at tracking the flight and it was still in Toulouse, and I had to go to Edinburgh and then back to London.
It had to be in Toulouse, doesn't it?
Oh my God, I just realised that as well. God. So the flight was in Toulouse, and then I had to go to Edinburgh. From Edinburgh, I had to go to London, and then London to take us back to Edinburgh. So anyway, I've had a lot of reflection time, and I'm at peace with the result now. I really am. I'm at peace with the result because I really don't think there was anything that the players on the pitch at the time could have done more than, apart from missing all the chances in the first half and not putting the ball in the back of the net. So take that as you wish, but that's how I feel. I feel like I'm as disappointed as they will be this morning waking up. And I think Arteta, I don't know if you guys have seen the video of Mikel Arteta outside the stadium in his car with his wife on Holloway Road after the game, and he looks livid. He looks like he has just went through them Amazon Prime era. It was telling to see his face. Didn't interact with the fans. Eyes fixated straight ahead in a traffic jam. He looked so angry, and his wife was kind of hunched up on her phone in the passenger seat. She looked like she'd received a bollocking as well, essentially.
Wow. Okay.
So, Tabs, how do you feel today about the game?
How do I feel? Look, immediately after the game, the discourse was, there was a lot of anger, amongst the group, amongst fans, in the stadium, on Twitter, X, whatever. And look, I get it. I totally get that. And we're going to be looking for scapegoats. We're looking for people to blame. And that's only natural when these things happen. But in terms of how I feel, and I think I said, I don't really do angry. Well, against Arsenal, I can get angry otherwise. But with Arsenal football, don't really do get angry. But for sure, I'm extremely frustrated, disappointed, annoyed, and I'm a bit down, but not out. Okay, we are still a very good young team. We have a very good young manager. So there's that there. And look, any team can have a bad game or a bad half like we did, and you can lose, and I can accept that, and I think we can all accept that. And as I said, we've been excellent this year, and we lost a game that we should have won based on the first half. And the reason it feels so bad is the context within which we lost, and that's because we're so close. Again, we've taken another step forward. We're just even closer, and we can sort of taste it. We can smell it. We've got such a good chance of winning the league, or we had a really good chance of winning the league. But it requires near perfection to win at this stage, and that's just ridiculous. That it has to, the levels you have to go to. I mean, we're competing against Man City, in inverted commas, probably the best team in the world. They've got unlimited nation state resources, and they don't play fair. For the 115 charges are still there, and whatever the outcome is, it's just not good. They're no smoke without fire, but we'll see. And so how it's so hard to compete against that. As I said, it just requires that near perfection, and we have to admit we are not quite there yet. we aren't at that level yet. And who is, other than City? But it is what it is, and we have to, and we need to deal with it. So I don't know. So even just one bad half of football can mean, it's game over. Yeah, we feel like that's it. Do you see them dropping points? It's hard to see it. Yes, they can. There's a chance. And if you look back at history, many years ago, there's been many ups and downs and things happen. But then we still need to not drop any points. But you never know what happens. And look, we're 2 points off the top. We have a better goal difference. 6 games to go. So let's see. So I'd say I'm down, but not out.
Senzi?
No, I agree with what Tabs is saying. I think I've cooled down after yesterday because my head was spun after watching all of that. I can't lie. The first half looked promising. We were having chances. But then as we got to the second half, I was terrified and Villa took advantage of us, which we saw. I do think it should have been 4-0 to them just because. No, seriously. When I was watching it, I haven't felt that scared in ages watching Arsenal. And we can't keep relying on other clubs to help us in order for City and Liverpool to drop points. This was from last season. Did we not learn from it? Why are we repeating the same thing again and again and again? Which is why I'm annoyed at certain players that should be acting like leaders, but they're not. So, yeah.
The thing, I agree with both of you guys, and I agree with you, Senji, that my head was also spun. I like that term. Apologies, I always have background noise whenever we record this pod, and apologies if you can hear it sounds like a chainsaw. Neighbours are getting the garden done, so I do apologise. But yeah, no, my initial thoughts after the game was it felt like we watched the Arsenal of old, and it felt like we were devoid of ideas, and there was not really any. It just felt like there was a lack of fight. No one. As soon as Martin Odegaard came off, it just seemed like the fans and the players checked out. So yeah, it was tough. Going to play a quick voice note from Whale. So Whale, obviously, everyone loves Whale. I mean, long time guest of the pod. He sent in a voice note. So have a listen to this, and let's see. It's not as harsh as what you guys think it might. So don't have to brace yourselves too much.
Good evening, fine sirs. Boy, it was last night's shit. First, I guess we'll start off with, I think Villa played a great game, set up really well. If there's one thing Emery knows how to do, apparently that's beat us. I thought we looked really sluggish out there. This is the second time that Liverpool had said, "Hey, here, you win the title," and we were like, "Nah, bigger fish to fry." So that's extremely disappointing. I do think that City will drop points at some point. I don't find them to be some invincible sort of juggernaut. So there's hoping for that. But now that we no longer control our own destiny, yeah, it's fingers crossed time. Didn't like when Arteta switched off Jesus for Jorginho. It looked like it was signaling that at that point we were just going to be happy with the draw. I don't know if there was an injury, but even so, I would have preferred if you're taking off one offensive player to bring on another offensive player. So I didn't like that almost as much as I didn't like Zinchenko kicking the ball out of play when Villa allegedly had a hurt player. If I've said this once, I've said it 1,000 times. It's the referee's job to stop play. If it was up to me, I would have pushed on, scored a goal, and celebrated. Refs, stop play. Anyway, we've got United, Chelsea, Tottenham, and then we've got the big one coming Wednesday. If we lose that one, the wheels could fall off, and this could get really ugly really fast. But I got faith in the boys. We'll see what happens Wednesday, and we move.
So interesting from Whale that, to be honest. It wasn't as bad. I thought maybe he'd be a bit more, bit more scolding and a bit more scathing in his attack. But like I was saying before that, I just feel like we were toothless. As soon as you bring off someone like Martin Odegaard and Ben White, the fans just honestly around me. I don't know about you guys, but the fans checked out completely, and that really hurt. And that kind of brings me on nicely to the highlight and low light of the Villa game. I talk loads. I wax lyrical about Arteta's substitute decisions. I believe it's been my highlight in 3, maybe 4 of the last 10 episodes that we've recorded. But today, that's a low light. I've had some time to reflect on it, and it is a low light. I know Martin Odegaard was potentially feeling something. He didn't go down and get treatment, I don't think, at all during the game. So I don't know whether that was fully the truth from Arteta. But when you have the choice to make subs in reaction to Moussa Diaby coming off for Leon Bailey, who we know is an outstanding player, an almost like-for-like replacement with Diaby, when you bring on Tomiyasu and Martinelli, fine. But then 10 minutes later, you're thinking, right, we've still not scored. Let's bring on Smith Rowe and Jorginho. Well, okay, Jorginho, yes, to maybe shore up the midfield and make sure we don't concede. But Smith Rowe was just... why? I don't understand. And the highlight for me was seeing you guys at the Coronet. So we changed our meet-up place. The Coronet was a breath of fresh air. It was so much bigger, so much more spacious. Josh managed to get some food, and the chips were lovely. Thank you, Josh, for letting us all partake in eating your dinner. But yeah, no, it was really good. I guess it was a mini low light that the queues were about 40 minutes long each time we had to go up to the bar, but it did settle down after Liverpool kicked off. So that was mine. Tabs, what was your highlight and low light from yesterday?
Yeah, normally I'm pretty good at these. Now I'm scraping the barrel a bit here. I don't know, the free scarf that got before the game from eToro. I just need to cut that bit off and re-sew it up. I know Liverpool losing. That was a good highlight, but that didn't exactly last more longer than 2 hours to enjoy that. That first half, joking aside, that first half, we were great. We were really good, and we'll talk about it in detail a bit later. But what was there not to like about that other than not taking our chances? So that was a bit of a highlight. And then the low light, counter that second half. Where did that come from? What the hell? That was a surprise and a shock, and it was just someone turned the lights off, and it was that instant. And I don't know. Okay, Villa were part of that. Emery said he didn't change much, but don't know. It was just light and day between the two. So yeah, my free scarf and the second half. There you go. Those are my highlights and lowlights.
Senzi, obviously you watched the game on TV, so I wonder if your highlight and lowlight would be something different, potentially. Was it when you turned the TV off? Was that the highlight? At the end of the game?
I mean, my highlight of the game was that I had banana bread in the oven, so I was actually looking forward to that. But then, because of how disappointed I was by the second half, I didn't even get to enjoy that because I didn't even have an appetite.
It's funny you say that. I didn't have dinner last night. I just, by the time I got home, there wasn't anything ready to eat, and I just couldn't be asked making dinner, so I just didn't have dinner, and I lost my appetite as well.
No, because I could tell my whole week had been ruined by this one game.
Honestly, this is what it does to us, right? Football.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So the lineup, in terms of the lineup, I mean, I kind of thought it was, I believe it's as I expected. I think there was no really any real surprises. The one thing I want to mention and want to generate some discussion on is, why have we started playing with Zinchenko and Jesus when Havertz up top and Kiwior on the left was working? And that kind of topic has been a question that I received this morning from essentially from Fraser. He says there was a couple of questions coming on the same topic, but Fraser just mentions, with the season coming to an end in a couple of weeks' time, and with Timber being out for what looks like the rest of the season, left back is an issue in our squad. After yesterday's performance, who is the best option at left back? Kiwior had a great run of games but was dropped. Zinchenko had a poor performance, and Tommy can't stay fit. Who in your mind should we stick for? So in my mind, it should be Kiwior. I said last week after the Bayern game, we should keep the faith, and I thought maybe Arteta would play him again, but he didn't. He dropped him. Just hope his confidence hasn't taken a huge knock. Maybe he's got Bayern in mind and playing him again there, potentially. But yeah, I mean, I don't know where to start with Zinchenko, and you guys know I'm not his biggest fan purely for his football antics alone. That's enough for me to not be his biggest fan. And I would agree with people who say, the chances we created were as a result of potentially some things he did in the first half, but then the second half, there's some things that are inexcusable. And also in the first half, I guess it came to mind that when Gabriel's passing the ball to your winger, why the hell have you got your back turned, and why the hell are you letting the ball hit your back? And Ollie Watkins almost scored.
Come on! You can't blame him for being slapped on the back by Gabriel.
No,
I mean, great. His positioning wasn't great, but I'm sorry, it's not his fault that he gets whacked on the back.
But Tabs, the first rule. I mean, your son plays football at a good level, right? And hopefully, he won his games yesterday in the top of the league.
He was.
So,
yeah, they did.
You were very nervous yesterday.
At least they're top of the league.
Exactly. But your son will know from a very young age. The first thing you're taught. Well, the two things you're taught is always run towards the ball if it's being passed to you, and number two, never take your eyes off the ball. Zinchenko played like how I did when I was about 7 years old, playing for Dynamo Dragons in the youth setup in the town I used to live in. Honestly, it was a nightmare.
I get the frustrations with him, and we go again. We talk about it again. I'm not going to criticize him for that because he was running away to get into position. Quickest point, Gabriel slaps it at his back. So I'm going to give him a bit of a break there. Yes, maybe his positioning might be better, but still, even if he was facing the right way, what's he going to do with that? And you said he was a really good part of what was good in the first half. We were good in that first half. Just a Trossard mishit away from being 1-0 up. So it's bizarre. So, and he was emblematic of what went wrong with Arsenal, because good in the first half, and then the second half he was rushed, no control, didn't help create any chances, didn't help progress the ball, made mistakes, was sloppy. So it's a really tough one. And in terms of starting the game, I think because we didn't have Jorginho playing, so therefore you need a bit more of that creativity, someone who's going to pass between the lines, pass between the channels, support Odegaard, and so on. So I was happy with him playing because we were going to be the team on the front foot. So that's fine. Do we really need to have Kivior there? We're fine with the three centre-backs. Again, the three centre-backs playing where they do when Zinni plays, that's their optimal places. I think, Saliba in the middle versus when Kivior plays, everything shifts one over, and right's a bit more forward. So I don't really have any issue, but the one thing is the risk now is definitely not worth the reward. And the biggest thing for me I have is that we're a team based on unity and control. And that's what Arteta really loves. And he seems to bring the opposite now. He's very much an individual that causes confusion, causes uncertainty. So why is Arteta introducing that? Now, look, Zinchenko isn't doing this deliberately. He's just, I don't know. He's just
not. Are you sure?
Of course, he's not doing it deliberately. Deliberately, as in he does it. But there's something about the way he's playing, the way he's thinking. Just something not right. His fitness. I mean, he can't last 90 minutes. He should be off at 70. Yeah, and so it's hard to keep defending him, and it's got to a point now, where the risk is not worth the reward. What he brings progressively is not. And I agree with your point. We were a really good team with Kivior playing there, but I think Jorginho was there. So if you take Jorginho out, then we miss a little bit. So it's a tough. Yeah, but I'm not going to be defending him greatly. I can again put things into context. Say he was part of a great first half, but he needs to be part of a great second half as well. He needs to be offering more. So he's now more of a liability than someone that offers us something good going forward. And it's just it's strange. The biggest point for me is that unity and control that he doesn't bring to the team, which we were all about this year. We were all about that.
Senzi, before I come to you, I just want to make a couple of very quick points. The first one is the problem that we have is, well, the problem that I have in my mind is if it ain't broke, don't change it, right? So that's the first thing. We were playing so well. That run of games where Havertz was scoring, and it was just good vibes football is what I like to refer it as. Everyone was having fun, and then suddenly the last couple of games, it's like Gabby Jesus and Zinchenko are back in, and it's all hell breaks loose. And it's not because of those two players, but the one thing I will say is we talk about never, if a referee never gets mentioned after a game, it's because they've had a good game, right? Zinchenko has always been mentioned after a game that he has played in recently, and it's not for the good, it's for the bad. And that should be telling, and that should be ringing alarm bells in our minds, thinking, right, like you say, it's hard to keep defending him because that boy cannot defend. So that's essentially what it is. I mean, there was one other in my mind I just wanted to quickly touch upon, Senzi. I want your thoughts on this, just from a watching it on TV point of view. When Nicolo Zaniolo went kind of off injured or with a collision with his teammate in the middle of the park, and we were playing on, and the crowd were just urging the team on. Saka was urging the boys to come forward. Zinchenko got the ball, and it could have been anyone. And I want to place it on record. If it was Ben White, Saliba, Raya, anyone, I would have said the same this morning. Why kick it out? And then after that, the fans were just on his back constantly. I don't know how it looked from you on TV, if the commentators made any kind of comments on that, Senzi, if that was shown.
No, it was shown. There was a real change in the atmosphere. I could tell people started to boo and turn against Zinchenko. I could hear it. You could tell even Saka was annoyed because of the hand gestures he made towards Zinchenko. I mean, usually I give a lot of grace and sympathy to players and I don't really slander them, but I was getting annoyed at the way Zinchenko was playing because it wasn't like... Because he's won a Premier League with City, so he should be showing his leadership skills and not confusing the players like that. I don't know what he was doing on that pitch, but it got me annoyed that I had to leave the room at one point and then come back in because of how infuriating it looked. And it was just making everybody confused on the pitch. And it baffled me, to be honest.
The one thing I would say about it as well is that we don't think he's a bad player. We just don't think he's playing well at the moment. And I feel like I never want to bring the off the field stuff because, you know, that it's so polarizing, that topic, and it's so difficult to really get it right. But the general consensus yesterday from a lot of the fans around the Clock End Upper was that he needs to focus on his football more if he really wants to be a regular starter and a regular player and really get involved. And yeah, I don't think that's the reason why he's not playing well. But yeah, it's an interesting topic, and I would love to just ask Arteta, you know, what's the reason for bringing Zinchenko and Jesus over Havertz and Jorginho and Kivior? Then, you know, it's weird, really, really weird. But look, I keep looking back at the league table on the notes that you've got, Tabs, and I really don't think all is lost. You know, there's still games to play, and I bet you, I would guarantee it, any single person listening to this podcast, if I said to you, after 32 games, Arsenal would be second in the league, 2 points behind Man City, we would have taken, what is it? We took 8 out of 12 points against Liverpool and City, albeit, yes, we only took like no points from Villa, 1 point from Fulham, and we also didn't do well against West Ham. But you would absolutely take the position we're in now. Better goal difference, albeit it did take a little bit of a hit over the weekend. I mean, City gained on us quite a bit.
6.
Liverpool, obviously, City gained 6 just in 1 week, and then Liverpool gained 1 on us. So as it stands, we still have a +5 over City. But we would, of course, take that, wouldn't we? We would take it. So all is not lost. You know, football's a very week by week sport where City could go. I think they play Chelsea, don't they, in the FA Cup soon? You know, they could go and win that game and then lose against Brighton away in the next. So let's just try not to worry too much, Grove listeners. Yeah.
You got to keep you got to keep believing. Otherwise, what's the point? You know. But it's the hope that kills. I think it's just because we've seen it before. That, you know, we've been going on about how good our run has been since in 2024. I don't think City have been beaten, or they're unbeaten since early December. So we keep talking about our great run. City are just doing what City does, and I think it's back to my point at the beginning, it's just the inevitability of City. That's what sucks the life out of us. Any other league or any other era, would be, I would suggest, would be top. With the run we've had and all the rest of it. Okay, who can tell for sure? But it's what we're against, and that's what kills us. That's what sucks the life out of us. If we look back to throughout the ages. I know if you look back at Fever Pitch, and I think when we lost at home to Newcastle, I think or Derby, I can't remember which one it was. You've seen, then all of a sudden we've got to go to Liverpool, win 2-0. But at least it's in our hands. There were times when we've lost games, drew against Wimbledon, whatever, gone on to win the league. But I don't think there was this City monster that was there. Okay, Liverpool at the time were great, Man United at the time were great, but I don't think they were the same. Just had that same sense of inevitability about them, and I think that's what's taken it. So I think we've all in the chat today, everyone's come down. I think we've all got that hope, but maybe we're kidding ourselves. Maybe we're just hoping and just we'll see what happens. 6 games to go, 18 points to play. Something might happen. Who knows? But that for me is why.
Incidentally enough, this time last year was that awful run of form where we dropped points against Liverpool, Southampton, etc., and then end up losing to City. So it just seemed for me like history was repeating itself, and
say that.
It just seemed like yesterday's result was make or break for us in more ways than one.
What was bizarre yesterday? Again, it was just the manner in which it happened. So last year, Southampton, the 3-3, we just started badly, and what the hell happened? And we were just playing catch up. Liverpool away. Okay, they're going to get the momentum. I think we're 2-0 up. We had a chance maybe at the end to make it 3-2. But Liverpool away, they're always going to get the crowd behind them, getting back. The West Ham one, we're 1 penalty away from being 3-2 up, I think it was, and so, or 3-1 up. I can't remember. But I think yesterday, again, it's also the manners. Like, wow, that first half was great. Should have scored, right? Same again. Yes, last year, I think it's a coincidence more than anything else. I don't think we're repeating. We're a better team than last year. I don't think in the league we're going to repeat what we did last time. Whether we'll win the league, probably not. But I think it's just different. I think it's just this is the winning season, and if you don't win now, this is what happens.
The one thing that really sticks in my mind is the amount of chances that we had in that first half, and we didn't bury any of them. So let's just discuss. We'll just a couple of sentences on each chance, right? The first one, Gabby header from the Saka cross. Tabs, you think he should have went a cross goal but tried to squeeze it in the near post, which he did. He did do the same against Brighton and almost scored. I think that was a tougher chance than what we think. Looking at the replays, I really do. I don't think it was as clear cut as others that are on this list.
But no, it's not that he should score. It's just, why are you trying to head it down into that bit? Just hit it. You always say hit it back where it came from. Also Martinez gets a hand in it. Someone come running in. That was another deficiency we had yesterday. There was no one coming running in on those chances. But again, you hit it across goal because, again, there's the space. He might save it, palm it out. That's more my frustration on that one. I was really frustrated at Brighton when he did the same thing. Hit it down near post. That seems to be, play the percentages. And it's easier to hit it back where it came from than trying to, I'm trying to do the movements now on the screen. But
Senzi, do you think that was a chance worth? Do you think Gabriel should have done better?
No, I do think he should have done better, but Martinez was very good yesterday as well. So, it's just a shame, actually.
He did have a good game, to be fair. So that brings me on, okay, fair enough, to the Odegaard kind of pass to Saka down the right. And Saka, Bukayo, thank you so much for listening to this podcast, as usual. But also, I just want to say thank you so much for using your right bloody foot just once. Thank you so much. I was loving that. And that shot that he took actually clipped the outside of the post and then the side netting. Okay. I only realised that when I was watching the highlights and had my headphones in at the airport. I don't know why I did that, to torment myself even further. But the ball actually hit the post and then went out. I just wonder could he have went across goal and maybe got a deflection or a tap in or something? So there was that one. But the one for me that was the icing on the cake kind of one was the Trossard one. I mean, that is similar to Tabs. You called it last week on the pod a sliding doors moment for Ben White against Bayern. That was so similar. At the time I thought to myself, I said to the guys next to me actually, who I felt so sorry for. He was there with his son on his 8th birthday, his first ever Arsenal game, and he was so excited.
They've got to learn sometime.
He was like, he was like Tabs. He had all the merch available, like every single thing you could buy. He had a little pie. He had his little hot chocolate. It was the cutest thing ever. I felt so bad, and I said,
never allowed back in the stadium again.
I said to his dad, I said, look, that feels as big as the Ben White miss against Bayern. And it's just like the same as when we played Villa last time. The amount of chances we had, we couldn't score, and then they ended up winning 1-0. That Trossard chance, I'm sorry, but you need to score. You need to have that awareness to hit it kind of with the outside of your foot and go the other direction from where Martinez is. But it's so hard, a split second. But when you're a professional footballer, I mean...
The thing is, we were saying he's one of our best finishers the other day against Bayern. His goal against Porto, he's clutch. He for me, he just, when they say, oh, he hit it too well, he mishits that goes in because they've got the whole, he mishit it. Martinez isn't saving it. It's a miss rather than a save. He just slices it. And I was thinking maybe he could have gone, far post, but actually then I looked at it again this morning. There was a player covering, so actually the shot he made was the only one he could do. But maybe, but from that close, you should be scoring. You should be scoring. Yeah, I don't want to make excuses for him. No, he should be scoring. And we go in, and I think maybe we were set up. We go in 1-0, and then we defend. Based on how we were feeling and stuff. Then we get, because those two chances Villa scored. They don't happen if we play like we know we can play and with a 1-0 lead. So yeah.
Talking about it now is just giving me it's just making me feel even worse, honestly.
Come on, it's cathartic. Come on. This is good for you.
And then, Senzi, the Saka curler, I seen the replays that they showed on TV. It looked close, didn't it? It looked very carbon copy to the Bayern goal, to be honest, didn't it?
It did. No, I was so disappointed that didn't go in. Oh.
It's just one of those ones where you think any of those chances go in the back of the net, it's game changing. We end up winning 3-4. I don't know. It's tough. It's very tough. In terms of stats, look, at the end of the day, if we perform like that first half for the remaining games that we have, I have no doubt that we will win our games. But in terms of the stats, Tabs, talk me through these and talk me through the XG and your thoughts.
To be honest, I wasn't really going to do stats today because it doesn't matter. We lost. It doesn't matter what the stats say. We can clearly see we were better first half, crap second half. 229 passes in the first versus 161. Accuracy 91 to 82. Our XG in the first half 1.45 to 0.19 in the second half. We had like one shot on target in the second, 3 in the first. No big chances. We don't need stats to explain what happened yesterday. I just put in there as it was an interesting comparison. Like even possession, we had 56% in the first half, 47. But this was definitely one where the eyes could tell you all the stats that you need to know. There's nothing there. I thought it would be interesting just to see the comparison between the first and second half, and everything we know about the game is there, and we don't need some numbers to tell us.
Okay, so then explain to me, guys. Senzi, you can go first. WTF happened in the second half? What did Unai Emery do? And by the way, what a manager! I see a lot of Arsenal fans think Unai Emery haunting us since 2018 or whatever. But fair play to the tactics in the second half. Senzi, I know your dissertation wasn't on this topic, but this is your new one. Explain what happened.
Well, the atmosphere definitely changed. I mean, whatever Emery told them in the dressing room, they took it literally because they definitely upped their pace. I mean, against us, because it was extraordinary. I mean, wow. Zinchenko with like the Telemans hitting the crossbar. That was momentary for me. I mean, it just had me off my seat a lot of times. The subs definitely caused an impact on the game. I mean, they were interesting. I genuinely do think that the subs ultimately cost us. Yeah.
Yeah, but even that though, I don't know how it was on TV, but even when they came out in the first half, it just felt like it felt different. I really do think, by the way, Tab, sorry, I know you're about to say something, but I really think that Arsenal need to do something about the empty seats from minute 40 to 45 and then from 45 to kind of 55. There really needs to be something done for that 50-minute period before and after half time where there's so many empty seats, fans getting drinks and food and things. I think it's far too busy in the concourse. The amount of people in there is unprecedented. I mean, we managed to see each other fleetingly as I was coming out the bathroom and you were going in. You looked like you'd had a good time at the bar.
Shut up.
And it's I couldn't even find you. I'm not saying that the concourse obviously is the size it is, but we really need to do something for that 50-minute period before and after half time where the seats are empty. I really find it gets us off to a sluggish start second half.
I think the Arsenal supporters trust or Red Action or whoever, they said they need to have, going off topic here, but pints lined up so it's a lot quicker. It's just people want to go and have a drink and that's their want and that's their right, and it just takes so long to get that and to use the facilities, and it is what it is. I know it's always been like that. It hasn't been an issue in the past. It's just it is what it is. It is. Sensi, it's interesting when you said that. Zinchenko tried to nutmeg Tielemans on the edge of our box. I mean, bloody hell, what's he doing? But I was actually thinking. I wrote down, oh, they've hit the post, and that was funny when they hit the post in the first half because all the Villa fans next to us thought they'd scored and they didn't, and so you did the usual way, and then they hit the crossbar on the post, and I'm like, oh, was our luck in today? Do we go and just grab a victory and get out of Dodge, and this is sometimes how Premier Leagues are won. I was very wrong there, but I was thinking, oh, maybe it is going to go our way. And in terms of the subs, how much was it forced? I think you mentioned Moz. He said Odegaard couldn't carry on. It worries me a bit for the Bayern game. White was on a card. You could see that. George Vazini, yeah, you could see why, but they didn't make that much difference. ESR for Ode, yeah, didn't really have the impact we wanted, and maybe it was a case of when we went 1-0 down, were we trying too hard? Maybe just get the draw, don't lose. Don't know. But I think they made us a bit worse. We lost our shape. It was reminiscent of Wenger, just trying stuff, and I think you said it at the beginning. Like Arteta and the subs. I think it was his worst day at the office in terms of making subs because he's recently been good. This time round, didn't really have the impact that we wanted to have. And who was it? Martinelli came on as well. And again, that's a tricky one. I actually wanted Martinelli to start because I thought there was going to be space behind, needs his pace more than Trossard, and so I thought, from the beginning he'd be good and Trossard would be a better impact sub. I can see why Trossard started and he had a good first half, but something's up with Nelly as well. That injury, he's been a bit on and off this season. The injury at Sheffield United maybe was worse than we all expected, and he's missing something. Like a few players who just seem to be missing something there, and he didn't come on and didn't do a great deal. And actually I think we can talk about the first goal. I think he may have switched off. Was it his man at the back post he should have been marking? I don't know, Moz, if you want to talk through the Villa one.
I don't know if it... Well, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of analysis going around online about Martinelli not kind of following his man, but I hate to make Zinchenko the scapegoat again, but he was playing right back not left back.
It was from a breakdown from a free kick, so Zinchenko was on that side because of where it from. So if you roll it back, he's not.
Yeah.
I think he was there from whatever. It's not like he went wandering.
A corner potentially or something.
Okay. It was from a set piece. So I'm not. I think it's either Rice, he switched off, or Martinelli switched off and left Bailey free.
Can I be honest? I put the blame on Raya for that. For that goal, I think he kind of flapped at the ball when it came across the post, the goal. Sorry, and I think he completely misjudged it, and I think I don't think he did himself too much. I mean,
we had enough players there to deal with it. It went past Havertz, past Gabriel, past Saliba, past Raya. Rice switched off. Nelly was nowhere to be seen, and it went to one player. There was so many chances just for that ball not to land when it is. It was so speculative. He slipped, crossed it, and it's just okay. Someone's going to deal with it. Oh shit.
Tabs. The thing is, though, I think Martinelli was standing at the edge of the box because if the ball broke to him, then it's counter-attack possibilities.
Yeah.
But it was one of those ones where you just seen coming, and watching it in kind of slow motion when you're live, and you see it. It's like you see it happening before anyone else in the stadium does. You feel, and it was almost like how Villa felt when Ollie Watkins crashed the shot against the post in the first half, and everyone thought, even the Villa fans started celebrating.
Yeah.
And I put my head in my hands thinking,
no,
and looked up and the ball had gone out for a goal kick. And so it was one of those things where, you just see happening beforehand. I think that the main concern for me, more so than the 1-0, the goal that took them 1-0, is the goal that took it to 2-0. I mean, first things first, sorry, I know I'm stealing the microphone here, but first things first, Jorginho, what are you doing passing it in that fashion, trying to break through two players when there's players to your right that you can just switch the ball and carry possession over? That's the first thing. So that's kind of like where the first piece of anger comes from. The second piece of anger is, why not just take your time, take a touch on the ball, calm things down a wee bit, because yes, it's only 1-0, but if we can salvage a draw from this when no one else is behind you and Ollie Watkins is there ready to pounce, don't lose 2-0 essentially. The next thing is Ollie Watkins wasn't offside. A lot of people were asking, around, he's offside, but the ball was played when he was in their own half, so obviously that's fine, either on the halfway line or in his own half. And Smith Rowe, I mean, I'm not putting any blame on Smith Rowe at all, but if I was him in that position, I would have taken the foul, taken the sending off, and brought him down yards away from the goal. But then I thought to myself, would he have known that Ollie Watkins was going to score, and would he have maybe trusted David Raya on a 1-on-1 against Ollie Watkins? That's the problem. But again, I put blame for that goal on Raya. So the first goal, I kind of put blame on Raya and Martinelli / maybe a wee bit of Havertz. But the second goal, I put blame on Jorginho and Raya. I think Raya came out of his goal too quick, and then stopped, and then came out again, and it was just too rash and too quick. And I just don't think it was good positioning from him. It allowed Ollie Watkins to chip him. So it was tough. It was really tough to watch, because Ollie Watkins doing that celebration at the corner flag and whatnot as well, he can piss off with that. He's an Arsenal fan, stop goading the Arsenal
He plays
fan.
for Villa, he can do what he wants.
I'd love him in my team. I'd love him.
So Sensi, what was the view on TV? Or what was your view on the goals, and what was who were the scapegoats as far as Neville was concerned?
I mean, I do agree with Martinelli and Raya. Like, Raya, I think, should have done more. Obviously, I also do want to mention Havertz. He was on a yellow already, and he was pulling McGinn's shirt, which should not have been done, obviously, because I was scared he was on a yellow. So I potentially thought he might get another yellow there. So that scared me as well. The second goal, I couldn't bear to see the second goal. So I have no clue on that one, but the first one, I think Martinelli and Raya, I do agree with what Moz is saying, but I mean, it was disappointing, because I did think we'd at least come out with a draw. But then, yeah, nah.
I think Moz,
you were saying,
I think we were
sorry,
forcing. I was just about to say, I think your point. I think, this is where we started to force it a little bit. That composure, the pressure, and you're talking from experienced players like Jorginho. You're right. Looking on that one, that's a bloody hard pass to try. The percentages on that pass he was trying to do. Yeah, right. Okay, Martinelli be free, but geez, it was like eye of a needle stuff. And Watkins did great. Watkins was okay. Well, I'm going to be speculate here. Martinez gets it or hoof it. I'll get it. I think it took a deflection off Smith Rowe, which looped the ball over a bit. It's desperation stuff at that time, and you can get caught in the break. And we were caught in the break.
Right. Okay. So let's forget about the goals. Let's just very briefly. I've got one more, maybe one or two more questions. The first question comes from Andy. So Andy, welcome to the Grove, by the way. I just want to place that on record. Thank you, Tabs, for. I'm sure he'll be loving that. Andy says, whilst not completely fatal, yesterday feels like it's a hammer blow to our league chances. On one hand, we seem to be close to a title with only a couple of additions required to take the next step. This year's results and performances show that. Might I add, we have dropped the least amount of points compared to Man City and Liverpool this calendar year so far. So there is that hope. And we've only lost one game in 11, 12. So it's not the end of the world, is it? He then goes on to say, on the other hand, you look at a tired squad that have overplayed again and good but not a great bench. Compare that with City's, Foden, Grealish, Bernardo, who all incidentally sat out on the weekend. Based on that, we seem to be about 3, 4 or maybe even 5 top-level players away from constantly winning. So how far away are we and where do we go from here? I just want to say that it's a really good question, and it's a point that I made, I think it might be in one of the group chats, potentially the Arsenal Scotland group chat. I said, we have depth. We have, in fact, I think it was a Grove. We have so much depth in our squad. The fact that every single player, bar Julian Timber, is available, right? But we don't have what a Man City have, is quality. We can't go, pound for pound, Cedric, Vieira, Nketiah against, the likes of Ake or whoever else plays for City in those positions, that kind of thing. So that's where we're lacking. But I really don't think we'll ever get to the stage of having 3, 4 or 5 additional players that will make us into that type of team. Financially, I don't think it's viable, first and foremost. And secondly, I just don't think it's Arteta's way of doing it. I think he doesn't want any issues with squads going forward and whatnot. He wants players to be ready whenever they're called upon. So it's a good question. I just don't know if we'll ever get to that stage, and I'm happy with that. It's the way Arsenal play, and we avoid 115 charges in the process. So there was that question. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts. There's also another question that potentially might tie in a little bit from Normie. So he just asked about thoughts on Gabriel Jesus. We thought yesterday he was quite, and over the course of the season he's been quite lazy. I did notice that myself personally. I felt like yesterday there was, and Normie alludes to this, he said yesterday there was a time when he was the most forward, and within a few seconds all of the players had overtaken him. After about 3 or 4 players had overtaken him from both teams, he was just jogging. He didn't look like he wanted to try. I did notice that exact moment. It was when Nelly had the ball on the left and Jesus was kind of just jogging into position. I mean, get in the box. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on both questions, and also let's discuss how impacted Gabriel Jesus could be from his knee injury. He says he's playing in pain every day, right? So it must be pretty bad.
I'll let Senzi go first. I've got opinions.
With Jesus, I wouldn't say lazy. I would say he's come back from injury. I think he needs to be more match fit and ready. I think personally starting him wasn't a good move. I feel like he's more of a super sub, and I feel that he should have been brought in later. So I wouldn't say lazy, but I do agree with Normie that he can't last the full 90 minutes. Obviously, I mean, he did outline that he plays with pain, so that says a lot, but I wouldn't say lazy, personally.
I don't think there's any footballer that at the moment doesn't play with pain at this time of the season. I think that's fairly normal. How much pain, how it impacts you. Thierry Henry keeps saying he can't remember count on one hand the amount of time he didn't play with pain. It's just how it restricts you, how it impacts you. And Arteta's not going to start him unless he sees him as being fully fit in inverted commas. But I don't know. It's a tough one. Again, I don't think lazy. He just looked maybe a bit tired. Maybe now his better position is what Pep used to do with him off the wing. His centre forward play doesn't offer us what we need from a centre forward, and he can do the same role out wide, and then we can have a bit of that. He's not expected to be in the middle. He can drift around, cause a bit more chaos. When you do that in the middle, then you lose maybe a bit of a focal point. Havertz was playing well with Trossard, and he was then becoming the further man forward. So I didn't mind him starting. I didn't mind Havertz being midfield. I said we were going to be the dominant team yesterday. We took Jorginho out, fine, having Havertz there. But is he our prime centre forward given his current situation? Maybe not. Him going deep a bit too many times. I think we passed how many times were we crossing the ball into the box, and it was like, well, why isn't there someone in the 6-yard box? No one there, type stuff. So, and he can't last the 90. So it's a frustrating one. Again, him and Zinchenko changed everything for us last year, but we've moved on from that now. And I'm not seeing him as that prime centre forward, not in his current state of fitness. I think he can cause, like against Brighton, brilliant job out on the left, and I think that's more where we have him rather than as the focal man up front. He didn't have the legs yesterday, and I think that was plain to see. And he just wasn't. He just seemed to be playing at 80%. There was a couple of times where you see, they would look to pass into him, and he put his hand up and said, "No, don't." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's not good," and that's not like him, because he is I keep saying, a Tasmanian devil. He'll run around, give you 100% all the time, and if he's saying, "Don't pass to me," it feels like he wasn't ready. He's still getting his breath back, and that's not like him. So something's not quite right there.
No, it's interesting. I don't know what happens with Jesus in the summer if all this talk of a striker is,
No, we need him. He stays, and so again, it going on to the
I'm
question.
not saying we don't. I'm not saying we don't.
No, but we have him more of an option out wide, I'd suggest, or he can play forward, but not. It depends on fitness. Again, he's played forward brilliantly. I don't know, something since the World Cup, since that knee injury, just hasn't been the same, hasn't offered the same, and something not right. Maybe this summer he doesn't go to Copa America, he gets it cleaned out, and he starts afresh next year, and he can be how he was at the beginning of last season. We hope. I mean, we will be buying a forward. What type of forward you get maybe does depend on how bad his injury is. And on the point, I don't know. I don't know a time when we haven't been 2 players away from a very good team, an amazing squad. It's just always, we just need this, just need that. And look,
2003, 2004.
Yeah, say that again.
2003, 2004, potentially.
What's that?
Around the time where we weren't really 2 players away from.
Okay, well, no, I'm sure we could do with more players and better players. You say, But Luton, and also you were talking about there was the question about City. City were playing Luton. Okay, they played with Lewis, Nunez, Kovacic, Guardiola. Are they really better than our options? Off the bench, maybe not 25 for 25. We're not going to match up, but I wouldn't say they're that much better. To in terms of what they offer. They just did part of a team that's just relentless. Yes, and let's hope next year we do get more players in and we improve again. We make that incremental improvement, and I think we will. It's just that we're not at their level at the moment, and it's hard to compete.
So let's sum it up. Let's sum up the Villa and close this chapter and put it to bed and laugh on it in 6 weeks' time when we won the league. And
when I've got my inflatable Premiership trophy.
Well, you've got your inflatable Premiership trophy, and Fraser's ordered about 100 foam fingers using his My Arsenal reward points on the website. So he'll be handing them out like you did with the badges, Tabs, the Grove badges. But let's just close the chapter and put it down to let's just hope that's one loss in this 2024 run. Let's hope it's an anomaly, and let's look ahead to the big game against Bayern on Wednesday night. I mean, now I wasn't as excited as the game as what I was after yesterday's result. I might also add, yesterday no one got the prediction right. I mean, I think I went for 4-2. Tabs, you went 2-1. CERN went 3-0. So
I don't think we're ever going to predict us losing.
Well,
apart from the Bayern game, maybe. Let's see.
yeah, I was going to say. But, this is a huge... So let's just talk about what we're looking forward to, not looking forward to, right? And for me, this is the biggest opportunity for Arsenal to, number one, silence the critics on social media who say we bottled it. No, we didn't. We haven't bottled anything this season anyway. If you look at Liverpool's position in the league 10 games ago, that's what you call bottling it. Although, having said that, maybe it's not as galvanising when your manager's leaving in 6 weeks' time and the squad are trying to win a trophy, right? That's maybe not the best thing, the best position to be in. I certainly don't think it's helping. But in terms of, I'm just looking forward to silencing these critics. And if we win, God, that'll just be, what a boost that will be. And whoever we get in the semi-final, I will be confident that we can use that momentum and leverage that momentum against whoever it is that we draw against. And both ties are so finely poised. So that's what I'm looking forward to. What I'm not looking forward to is the cauldron of noise that the Allianz Arena will be. The fact that there's going to be Bayern Munich fans there, and obviously we'll be there loud and proud as well as Arsenal fans. But Arsenal fans there need to help this team and get across the line. I'm just not looking forward to that inevitable 10-15 minute period of Bayern just dominating possession and relentlessly playing attack versus defence and toying with us and whatnot.
Well, at least Kane's already had his penalty, so he can't get that one again.
True. The only thing I would say is Bayern are struggling with some injuries potentially. I think Kingsley Coman went off, Gnabry's potentially out, so there is that. So I think that's helping us, and obviously Alphonso Davies is suspended, so that potentially will help. And Leroy Sané, apparently, according to some reports, but
physical discomfort. What does that mean? Stubbed his toe.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Not looking forward to Senzi. What about yourself?
Well, I'm terrified for one, because I know Bayern are going to come in full force after losing the Bundesliga title. They're not going to be nice, obviously. But I think it's a game where certain individuals need to be serious and wise up if we want to progress and win anything as a club. I guess if nobody's because if we have this thing where this is a Villa situation again, I feel like if they're not up for this challenge and they mess about, then they can just stay at home, because I think this is an arena where we need to progress as a club. We need to showcase to the critics, like Moz said, we need to show what Arsenal are really about. We can't mess about here, because already I've deleted X because I can't bear to see anything, the memes, everything. Just, I feel like we're the club that gets made fun of the most, so this is a time for us to prove ourselves.
You're making me nervous, Senzi. I'm getting that tingly feeling in my fingertips and my tummy's rumbling.
No, I have a really bad feeling in my stomach. I don't want to say this, but I just have a really bad feeling that my week is going to just crumble.
So what are you looking forward to?
I don't know.
I'll tell you, Senzi. You're looking forward to Wednesday at 10 p.m. when the full-time whistle goes, and you don't have to worry about us playing for another 3 days.
Yeah.
Tabs, what are you? You must be. You're the beacon of positivity. You're the guy that you'll find a win out of somewhere.
We are, one game away from the semi-finals in the Champions League. We're one victory away, one penalty shootout away. So, you've got to enjoy the fact that we're there. We've got an opportunity to rectify what happened, to go and show everyone what we're about. And that's what I want. If we lose, we lose. It's Bayern Munich at home. there's not going to be any shame in that. So it's more a case of looking forward to the opportunity and how we play and showing up and being there. You know, we don't want to be embarrassed and stuff like that. And then just whatever happens. You know, I said we've got to respect that it's Bayern Munich as at home, still a very strong team, very good team, and let's turn up and do ourselves proud. What I'm not looking forward to is the flip side of that is if we end up doing another 5-1 and then all the narratives come out and then it's like, the Villa, Bayern 2-2, lose Villa, knocked out by Bayern, embarrassed by Bayern, and then we have to go to Wolves and we have to win. So I'm not. You just really hope we don't get embarrassed and we put a performance in, show what we're about, and that's where I'm with it.
I don't think there's really much point in talking about how we'll approach the game because at this stage we don't really know how Arteta will even how he'll line up.
I think it needs to be a similar approach to the City game. We need to still be in the tie at 70 minutes or even extra time. So again, we don't go out, trying to win it early on. All the rest of it, it's just about okay. And we are a good away team. I think sometimes we're better away than we are at home. It's maybe clearer cut. I don't know. So again, similar approach to City. It doesn't have to be. Not that we'll drop so far back, and I think Bayern may offer more opportunity for us to attack. But we just got to be in the tie with 70 minutes to go, push it to extra time if we need be, and then we see what happens. I'm just a bit maybe concerned. How we looked sluggish second half yesterday. How is Odegaard? How are we going to pick ourselves up? That's going to be interesting to see.
I'm really nervous. I am because this could honestly make or break our season. I honestly feel like if we win against Bayern, then we go on to win the rest of our games because we'll be so together and so close knit and pumped. Yeah. Unfortunately, my prediction is that we lose 2-1 to Bayern. I think we will score, but I think Bayern will beat us 2-1. That's the first prediction and probably the last prediction that I'll ever say that we'll lose a game, but I just don't see us winning on Wednesday. I hope I'm wrong. I've been wrong for many predictions in the past. I think I've only got one spot on before, so I hope I'm wrong. Senzi?
No, I'll be positive now. I think we'll win 2-1.
So that we're going to win 5-1. There we go. We owe him.
Well, you heard it from the horse's mouth. Tabs has said we're going to win 5-1, and he's wrote it down, so it's locked in. If you've listened this far on the pod, please put down hashtag Premier League champions. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't jinx it. Put down hashtag Coronet. That's CORONET. And put down your prediction. The winner, as usual, will get a prize if you are correct. Please also specify what team when you put the prediction, because I've had someone come up to me before, I can't remember who it was, said, I predicted like whatever it was, 2-0 or something, and it was the wrong side or whatever. So anyway, thank you for listening, and if you have got it this far, please remember, everyone, to stay positive. At the end of the day, we've been in this position before, and I'm sure we'll be in this position again. But
what do you mean, second behind City? Oh, yes, it's going to be very familiar.
The one thing that always sticks in my mind, though, it's not about the destination, but it's about the journey. And we are having a hell of a ride. And you would have bit my hand off and taken the position that we have been in this season 100% at the start. So be positive, stay positive, everyone stay friendly. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Senzi, thank you so much for joining us. Really looking forward to the summer when you talk about your dissertation. I won't spoil it just now, but really, really looking forward to that. Not long to go. And Tabs, thank you so much again for joining me, and I hope your hangover's not too bad.
Shut up, you idiot.
See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.